Welcome to the Medical Portal LLC Investors Presentation. The pharmaceutical medical device industry spends a significant amount of money getting product details out to the clinicians. MedPortal offers those vendors a solution by simultaneously expanding the number of clinicians that they can reach and doing so in a more cost-effective model. Essentially, MedPortal recruits clinicians and associations by offering them some novel solutions and doing it free of charge, thereby creating a supply that we offer to the vendors for a fee. So rather than demo the product, I would rather have people go in and actually use it. So here are some instructions on how to do that. Here's also some more specific instructions relevant to the investment information. And once you've had a chance to do that, you can continue with the video. So the selling points to the user, which in this case is the clinician, is they can earn CME by simply creating activity in the portal. The portal has unique tracking algorithms which will record everything a user does and put it into a report format so the user can then declare CME. In addition, there's the benefits of networking and building reputation among peers. And also we feel this product enhances student-teacher and employer-employee relationships. For the associations, we offer conference extension and virtual conference capabilities. Conferencing is the major function of most professional associations. In addition, they will be visible among all the other associations members, which may allow them to cross-recruit with other associations. And we give the associations the ability to create their own activity through ad space and news feeds, maybe create some joining incentives. In addition, associations have some other minor functions such as elections and surveys. And of course, they need to collect dues. And we offer all these in one place, the MedPortal, for free. The selling points to the vendors are access to medical providers. Not only can we prove through our demographic reports that we have these providers, but that they're actually using it. And if the vendors do partner with us and put a liaison in the portal, then we'll be able to track that liaison's activity, how much they're doing and how much activity they're creating around the vendor's products. So our keys to success are not only to enroll users, but to get them actually to use the product. We of course want to make it profitable by selling that access to vendors, and then there's some secondary revenue streams I'll talk about. Here's the executive summary for the business strategy. We should have the product completely finished by August and ready to go for a soft launch. In September, we do have 2 soft launches scheduled. They're just 1 to 2 hour presentations in the evening. They're both with 2 different organizations who are willing to become part of the portal. Hopefully in October we'll have a few larger ones that we're working on. It will also be a good time to start to approach the vendors and the associations, schedule a time to show them the soft launches essentially. And during that time we may work on some upgrades to the portal as well. November, December we'll hopefully be presenting our soft launch to the larger associations, start working on building teams to implement the product if and when they do agree to participate. Throughout 2017, we should be hiring and training staff to go into conferences and recruit members and create the virtual conferences and the conference extension. Hopefully we'll be recruiting more associations and getting the vendors on board. Right now the association tools are fairly crude. For the most part we don't plan on associations picking them up right away, and we'd like their feedback before we develop them further. So we have them to show that we have them, but essentially we're going to really tweak those, and that should help get more of the larger associations on board. It'll continue to develop our CME tracking algorithm. As we go over the years, we'll continue to build users in the product for North Carolina. And from that point, once we feel like we have the product working well and we can demonstrate it, especially with our tracking algorithms from CME, we will push on a national level. So in North Carolina alone, there's over 15,000 clinicians. Nearly all of them belong to associations, and almost all of them attend conferences. CME is a big deal. All the providers must have it. If we can provide a solution to getting that easily and cheaply, then we should be able to get users that will actually use the product. North Carolina is only a 30th of the national population, therefore about 1/30th of the gross GDP for medicine. And pharmaceutical companies spend $200 to $500 per sales rep. Again, we can do that with one rep and cover a much larger territory for these and get around a lot of physical barriers that are currently in place with healthcare systems and so forth. Once it is up and running, we should be able to recruit private CME providers for a fee as well. And we're working on a non-compete with Brezio, in which we might be able to provide a different version of this product to pharmaceutical companies, research associations, non-clinical like administrative associations, and so forth. So the investment opportunity is simple. I don't necessarily need a whole lot of money to launch this product, but I am preparing for tremendous success and scaling with the worst case scenario, which would be not getting the vendors on right away. So we'll have a high cost and we'll need to support our clients, but we may not have revenue coming in. I'll explain why we have a $5 million valuation on the product. I'm offering 40 shares at $10,000 each. Some of these, nearly half, we can offer as a sweat equity. And if it does go larger, there'll be an opportunity to reinvest. So here's some financial projections. 1,000 users would probably be one of the state associations, and only a fraction of their users might be active. So that's why I put it at 1,000. We have 1,000 members alone coming to our summer conference in August. You recruit a third of them to half of them as active users. You're already halfway here, and you can see that this is if this works, that's a $5 million value in the company alone, with a pretty significant return on investment relatively quickly, maybe a year, maybe two. As we recruit more associations, I think 5,000 is a good estimate of what we'll have for active users in the state of North Carolina, which is about a third of most clinicians. And at that point, the company is doing over $5 million in profit a year, and will probably be worth about a $25 million valuation. So 30,000 active users would be if it went national, and respectively 150 would be once we've recruited a fair amount of users. And these revenues are all based on an estimate of $100 a month per user, which, to put it in perspective, pharmaceutical companies on the average spend about $200 million in the state of North Carolina, just the top 10. And I have some other information in the portal that supports this information. So if we went to them and asked them for 5% of their budget to expand their territory and be able to reach more physicians with their product details in a much more cost-effective way, I think it's pretty reasonable to assume that they would each pay $10 per user per month, and we eventually recruit about 10 vendors. Moving on, the investors that I am looking for agree to sign a non-disclosure that if you're listening to this presentation, you've probably already done so. Is a resident of North Carolina and has no legal conflicts. If there is a legal conflict with our attorneys, we just have to have some type of form signed to get that resolved. Is willing to invest for a minimum of $10,000 or equivalent in sweat equity. We're also having a maximum limit because we do want a certain number of investors, and we're choosing mostly strategic investors. Having a high net worth is not absolutely necessary, but it does make it easier when trying to qualify people. And again, the summary, which I've already gone over. So feel free to review this, ask questions. If you're doing this through the portal, please insert your questions into the talk so people can review it and see where you're coming from and read the rest of the articles in this collection. Thank you.